Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming to our webinar, Daycares in Germany. My name is Tal Gibbesch. I'm the owner of Gibbesch Consulting GmbH. We are a relocation and immigration agency, and with me today is Paz Schreiber. He's our consultant, children bureaucracy and Kitas consultant, and today we're going to talk about I'm going to talk about the agenda in a minute. Paz, maybe you want to introduce yourself for a moment?
Sure. So hi, everybody. Good evening. As Tal said, my name is Paz Schreiber. I'm a children bureaucracy consultant here in Germany. I'm usually specifying my professionality about everything that goes around Elternzeit, Elterngeld, Kindergeld, Kita-Gutschein, finding places in Kitas, finding places in schools, everything that's around these topics. Happy to have you here.
Just fair warning, it's going to be a lot of information this evening. Both Paz and I have experience of many years in Kita search and in relocation in general and all the bureaucracy. So it's going to be very informative. So, pay attention. So what's on the agenda today? First, we're going to talk about the terms, as we say, Kita System 101, the terms, the priorities, the registration. We're going to talk about types of Kitas. If we're talking about private, what is public, international, German, bilingual Kitas. We're going to talk also about special Kitas, Waldorf, Montessori, Wald Kita, parents management. Also, we're going to bring up the topic of integration status, or in German, Integration status, and cognitive and physical disabilities. We're going to talk about Gutschein, the famous Gutschein, and we're going to explain exactly what that is, what the process is, costs of the Kitas with and without the Gutschein, as much as we can. And then we're going to give some tips for Kita search, and then we're going to have your questions in the Q&A section. So, Paz, take it from here.
Yes. So let's really start with the 101 of Kita generally. Kita is actually not mandatory in Germany. There is no any law that says that the child from birth until the first class has to go to any childcare system, and theoretically, from the side of the law, the child can stay at home. Of course, that's not happening. And as actually the state of Germany is a social state, there is a lot of help to parents to finance and finding places in Kitas for the children. So usually, after the first year of the child, there is coming a question, okay, what's next? Where are we going to find a Kita? Where the child is going to go to? Why after 1 year? I will just say it in one sentence, because actually the first year is financed as Elternzeit from the state. So usually it's kind of like makes sense that the parents will stay at least the first year of the child with the child at home, and then will go to work and the child to a Kita. There is two different kinds of Kitas. There's the Krippe, which is like 1 until 3. And then there is the kindergarten, the regular Kita, which is 3 to 6. There is some Kitas that involves both of them. There is Kitas that take only one of them, one of this age groups. To get into a Kita, you also need a Gutschein. A Gutschein, I will just explain really shortly. It's a voucher. It's a voucher that the state give to every family according to their situation, finance situation, and also working situation of the parents. Very specifically, it's produced by the Jugendamt. The Jugendamt is the the child care service, the child care office by the official state. But we will talk about it more later. Yeah, Tal, maybe you can explain a bit more about the priorities.
Yeah, before I go into the priorities, I think it's important to explain, because you said Elternzeit. So Elternzeit is parental leave. We have that in
Yes.
Germany. So this is something that is important about priorities. The most important priority is siblings. If you have one child in a Kita already, Kita is a daycare. If you have one child in a Kita already, it means that your other child or children have the priority to go into the same Kita. Usually they prefer siblings in the same Kitas, so that would be priority number one. Priority number two is who is in Germany right now. If you apply for a Kita and you're not in Germany yet, you will get lower priority than someone who's here and for more time. Let's say it can be 2 months, it can be 1 year, but still they give priority to people who are, to families that are in Germany already. Also, you should consider mother tongue, which means what language do you speak at home? If you speak German, they would give you priority when you go to a German Kita, German-speaking Kita. If you speak English, so they might give you priority, for example, in international Kita that we're going to talk about in a second. So it's very, very dependent. If you're going to bilingual school, for example, for Polish and German, then if you speak Polish, you would have clear priority over the others. And of course, there are the horrible waiting list that everybody's talking about. It gives some priority if you just wait in line, but there is a system to each Kita that they handle their own waiting list. So it's really impossible to know if you're really in first place in the waiting list or not. It's not open to everyone. They don't say it, obviously. But this is something that really needed to know about the waiting list. Paz, why don't you talk about registration?
Yes. So it's good that you mentioned waiting lists, because to get into a waiting list, a person have first of all to go through the short but first registration process. I want to mention already now, it's really important also to understand there is a big, big difference between Kitas and systems of cities, of big cities in Germany, to systems and Kitas that works more in the land or in the villages. Because there is like a different also system like official systems, but for example, in a big city, there is different quarters and so, and there is also like the municipality and everything. And in the villages, maybe it's a kreis, it's a circle, it's some area that a few villages, for example, belongs together. So there is a big difference here. I think we will focus today generally more about the cities. Or at least that's what I will explain now about the registration. That's also
Before you continue, maybe it's worth mentioning that Bonn, for example, which considered to be a big city, it's not really a big city. Big city,
yeah.
you have over 100 Kitas, Stuttgart, Berlin, Frankfurt, Munich, etc. But Bonn, for example, it has 20 Kitas, right? Yeah,
That's true.
so
That's
in
true.
that sense, it's really small city. So we're going to talk more about big cities, but the concept is kind of the same,
Exactly.
usually.
Yeah, especially with so the registration is also working like this. It's pretty similar to how to what Tile said. So usually you need to go and register in the Kita and ask to join them. It's like depends if the Kita big or small, if it belongs to a net or if it's like a solo Kita, which is a private and setting by itself. So the registration will be or through email or call that you will need to send to the Kita, or through their website system. So you will need to go to the website, fill out a form, and then you send it, and they reply to you. If they don't reply, it's usually good to go and like make a follow-up, talk with them, maybe send another email and just say, hey, did you get my registration? When they get your registration, usually you go to the waiting list, exactly as Tal said, and then you just get your spot and you need to wait. Why is that? Because most of the time the Kitas are full. There is more children that needs a place in a Kita than a Kita places right now all over Germany. So there is some of situation that you really need to go and search for it, but it is possible. Tal and I, we are working also for years together now, and we have 100% of success. We all the time could find a place for our customers, children in any Kita, in any place in Germany.
And we like to keep these 100%.
Yes, and definitely we
Work
do.
hard.
We are working very hard to keep this 100%. But of course, there is a lot of work around it. So after registration, let's say you get into the Kita, you sign up a contract with them, you show them your Gutschein, everything is great. The first day has come. Please remember that in Germany, you cannot just leave your kid at the first day and go to work. It doesn't work like this. There is the adjustment time. The adjustment time in Germany is being taken very serious by the teams of the Kitas, and usually it takes between 1 to 2 months after the beginning of the child in the Kita. It is because in Germany, the pedagogic way to deal with the change between home and the Kita space, or the Kita time, is really sensitive, and a lot of pedagogic teams, they are really taking care that the child will have a smoother as possible movement between the two, and that's why they need also the parents to be part of it, and the parents have to be in the Kita at the beginning, and then a bit less and less, maybe not in the center, then maybe in at the corner or on the side, and then in some point outside of the Kita, but that the child will all the time know that the parent is there. Of course, it also depends on the child itself. Each child is its own world and adjust to the situation differently. But but I prepare you already from now on that you will know that this is what expected.
What about registration times? When are you supposed to register to the Kita?
Great question. So usually the registration times is until the end of October for the next year, which means if now we are in summer 2024, the registration time to 25-26 will be until the end of this October. That's usually when the registration time for the Kitas are. But I want also to put in a disclaimer, even if you move in the middle of the year to Germany, it's still possible to get a place. Not as easy as at the beginning of the year, but it's still possible because there is always some changes in the middle of the year. There are some families that are moving out. There are people that changing Kitas because the kid didn't really involved so good or as expected, or the parents are, I don't know, found something else. So there is all the time some changes, but the best is to do it as until the end of October of each year for the year after that.
Okay. I would like to bring up, you mentioned private Kita. So I would like to, talk about the types, and I'm going to start with the private and public. There's not really
Yes.
public Kitas. There's nothing of the state. So what you have is chains, like networks of big Kitas. Usually they have all the age groups, including the Krippe, including the Kita, and they're really big. They have systems. I'm sure you're gonna talk about the Big Brother afterwards. And then So this is what we refer as public, but it's not public as you know it, because this is something not of the state. Private, what we call private, is the one that stands for itself. It can be one that they have maybe 4 kitas or only one, but that's specific ones, not something that is changed. We also have, of course, the international kitas, which usually connected to the schools. Some international kitas, they speak German and English, but it's enough to be fluent in English. Some international kitas don't require even English. You can come with a third language, not English, not German. You can come with a third language, and they have the system to teach you the English that is required in day-to-day kita life. The international kitas are not that easy to get into. They have their own system, their own preferences. Most school time, kita time, is English, so they actually prefer English speaking, native English speaking kids, but not limited to. And each international kita is different than the other most of the times. They're also not international, but bilingual, or 3 languages. Kitas that, again, as I gave the example before of Polish and German, you have Greek and German, you have English and German. Sometimes they demand to be only fluent in one language, or the 2 languages, or the 3 languages. But to these kitas, you cannot enter with no language at all, with none of the languages. So you cannot come in with a 4th. That said, even if you put your kid in a German-speaking kita, I think that it's better to, apply for a German kita, German-speaking kita, only if you plan to live in Germany for the long run, because that they have the basics, they have the system to teach the kid German. The children, always I hear from parents, well, what about them? They wouldn't know how to communicate. They don't know German. I'm saying, parents, their fears, they just, project it on the kids. Kids learn language in 6 months, and they start to, talk. It's not a problem. The problem is the parents usually, and they project the fears. So your kids would be the translators for you within 6 months, probably. One thing that I want, one type, is Kinderladen, which literally says Kita shop, daycare shop. And they are in places that shops were in the past, and because there were no space for new kitas, so kita staff purchased the space of the shop and made it a kita. It means that they have no Spielplatz, they have no place to play outside of the shop itself. They usually are located next to Spielplatz, next to an area, green area that they can play at. So this is something that is really, really nice. And the green area maybe brings us to the special kitas.
Yeah, definitely. So there is a few special kitas, except from what Tal said, because she talked now about the general and maybe some more specific ones, but there's like really special kitas. And when we talk about special kitas, we talk also about a special pedagogic methods. It's important to say up front that it's only 20% maybe of all the kitas exist out there, but they're really, really special. And they are really interesting. For the first one, for example, is the Waldorf, which using the Waldorf system, which is actually education through art, through music. It's more focused on playing, of coming together and being developed, like the child is developed through the art, through the music, through the play. He's getting to know what he wants through that. which is really interesting and special, I would say, in this and important in this age. Another one is the Montessori, which I believe many of you know. I think that Montessori, it's not something, it's like there is some different kinds of Montessori, I would say, in different places in the world. Here, Montessori means that the child is in the center, as in the Montessori method. But here it's also very important, as Tal said before, that there is like this big brother attitude towards the groups. That means actually that as when I talked before about the Krippe and the Kita, the two age groups in the Montessori system, they bring them together, and each big kid getting a little brother, which is one of the children from the younger group, and they take care. The big brother take care of the smaller one, and through this they develop this very important responsibility feeling for the big brother, for the older kid. And for the younger kid, he feels that he belongs, that he has a space, that he's looking up to somebody, that he's not alone. And that's definitely bring them together. And it's really important also to the development by the method.
Maybe, sorry, before you continue,
Yes.
maybe it's worth mentioning that the Waldorf and Montessori systems, they're all over the world. In Germany, they're a little bit, the German interpretation of the methods
Yeah.
is a little bit different. So maybe we shouldn't get into the differences because it's too much to handle. But yes, you specified the very basic ones, but there are obviously more differences. So if you're into Montessori or Waldorf, it's worth checking the website of the Kita if they have one, or to go there and ask about the system specifically, because what you know about the system in your origin country might not be the same as in Germany. Sorry, please continue.
Exactly. No, you're totally right. That's what I meant as well. It's like it's really different. Generally, it's also a great tip that we can give already now all the time when you're interested in one of the in any Kita, go search about it, ask about it. We will get about it also later. We have a few tips for you guys. But as you said before, also with green spaces, the next special Kita is it's called Wald Kita. It's actually a nature Kita. That's usually Kitas that are located next to a big forest or a big river or any kind of nature. And most of the pedagogic plan of the Kita is actually happening in the nature. They're going outside every day, also in winter, and they are
And it's still being
focusing.
cold.
It's really cold. They are maybe not going for the whole day, but just for a few hours. But the whole point is that they learn, the children learn about how to come closer to nature, how to work in the space of nature. It's really asked Kitas. There are not a lot of them. They're really good, and to get a place there, it's really special. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. And then the last one that I want to mention is actually also the parents' Kita, the parents managed Kitas. It's actually Kitas that managed by a group of parents. It's coming from the east side of Germany. Actually, that's the roots of the system. That there is a group of parents that decide to manage a Kita together, and that's also involve all the parents together, which means that each one of the parents need to contribute each kind of activity to the Kita itself. If it's cleaning, if it's cooking, if it's maybe doing some activity for the kids. So that's also a special ones. But
But there
it's
is a Kita teacher in appearance management.
yes.
There is a Kita teacher. You're not, the parents are not coming instead. So this is something that, you know, many parents may be now like, oh my God, I don't want to do
True.
this. But it's actually, you know, it's popular. Not as
Yes.
the Wald Kitas, of course,
Yeah.
but it is popular because there are spots there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you can choose
Mm.
the Kita teacher, so that's also a big part of it too.
Yes.
Definitely.
I want to add one special type of kitas, which is religious kitas.
Oh yeah.
And religious kita, it can be any religion that they might have. They might have a lot of religion in their pedagogic um, method, and they might not have that much. So if you're interested, it's good to ask, but take it under consideration. It might be a good option. There,
That's
I
true.
know of a kita, for example, that you can be in the kita. You can put your child in the kita only if you're a member of the church, and it doesn't matter that you joined the church and then you wanted to put the kita. They see it as you joined the church in order to put the child in the kita. So you really have to be careful with this. But in general, they're very nice. Actually, they're very nice, very accepting, and it's not for the specific religion itself. So it's usually for all kids. And from then we go into another special status, I would call it. Um, it's called integration status, and in German, Integration status. It's not what people think, because people think, hey, we're going to do integration with the country that you just immigrated to. It's not. What integration status means, if you see in Nikita that they have spots for integration status, which is written the same as integration, it's not for immigrants. It's for children with disabilities, either cognitive or physical disabilities. The kitas get more money from the state if they have integration status. They have extra help for the child, extra attention. So it's something that is really important, but it's not for immigrants. If the immigrant, if the child gets integration status from the state, that's something else. But he's getting it because of the disability. That said, for severe disabilities, cognitive and physical, you have special kitas only for this specific kind of disabilities with supporting system. It's something that is very accepting and very nice, and there is no room for no disability kids. So this is something that important. If your kid has no disability, he cannot go in to a disability kita, which is for severe disabilities. Now maybe we can talk a little bit about the Gutschein. Well, it's not a little bit actually. It's a very popular. So maybe Paz, it's your domain. So go ahead.
Sure. Gutschein, it's a very fun subject to talk about, but it's also a really important one. It's definitely one of the first steps that a parent needs to do when they wish to get their kid into a kita. So let's get it again, what a Gutschein exactly is. Gutschein, it's a voucher, again, that's been given by the state. Why I need a Gutschein? Why do you guys need a Gutschein? There is a lot of kitas that getting the money there from the state with a Gutschein. Without a Gutschein, they won't probably accept you. Die Gutschein is usually, not usually, it's always actually, it's been written inside of the Gutschein. It's also all the time written how many hours will be taking care of the child by the kita for you.
What are
It's
the
not
types? How many hours do you have? How many categories?
exactly. There is 4 categories. It's starting from until 5 hours, between 5 to 9 hours,
Up to 7.
sorry, 5 to 7, between 7 to 9, and then 9 plus. I can already tell you that actually each category is for a specific situation. The until 5 hours, it's usually both parents staying at home. 5 to 7 if it's one of the parents are staying at home and one of the parents is working. 7 to 9 is usually when both parents are working full time. And +9 is for specially cases if the two parents are working shifts. For example, doctors or maybe nurses or so on. Or to single parents. Single parents are also usually can get +9. Don't catch me by the word, of course. I don't decide it, and it's not written by law, but that's usually how it is. And this is how the Jugendamt's usually looking on the Gutscheins. And
For a moment before you continue, I see that a lot of people raise their hands virtually. So
yeah,
please, if you have questions, please write them in the chat so we can answer them afterwards. Sorry, please continue.
all good. So actually the Gutschein is every hour it's translated to money, the money that actually goes from the state to the Kita in the name of your child when he's signed up to a specific Kita. So also the story with the Gutschein is that there is no same law for all of Germany. So it could really depend where you live in Germany, in which Bundesland, there is 16 of them, and also in which city or in which Kreis, in which area you are living at, because each one of them has its own different rules about how to get the Gutschein and what is that exactly means. For example, in Berlin, you can get the Gutschein from the first year of the child until the first class. And the parents with the Gutschein will pay almost nothing. From the other side, if you go to, I don't know, from München, for example, yeah, from Munich in Bavaria, even with a Gutschein, you will probably have to pay some amount of money each month to the Kita.
How much, for example? Can you
It
give a
can
price range?
It can start like from 20 euros to a few hundreds. It's really depends. Yeah. Germany is very big. And there is a lot of different laws about this. That's why I think it's really important to have somebody that maybe knows how to control and what to do. It can spare a lot of time. Because, and this is also a really important point, there are many Kitas, not all of them, but there are many Kitas that won't take the child until you have the Gutschein in hand. So you can start searching for a Kita even before you're moving to Berlin, as Tal said before. Of course, your priority will be down. And even if they tell you, okay, we save you the spot, you got in, they will tell you still, I need a Gutschein, because only when I will have the Gutschein, then I know that I can save this spot and I will get the money for it and everything from the state.
There are cases that they allow paying privately at the beginning until you get the Gutschein. So
Exactly.
we had cases like this until the Gutschein
Exactly.
arrived. You pay private. It can be really thousands of euros, depends on the Kita. But also you can get it back retroactively, right?
Yes, exactly. So we had also already cases similar to this, that there are some Kitas that said, okay, no problem, let the kid start in the Kita to get adjust. And actually the whole bureaucratic part was solved a bit later, retroactive. That's of course also a possibility. But I recommend everybody to start with the Kita Gutschein in the moment that you do your Anmeldung. It's also really important. The Kita Gutschein can start only after doing the Anmeldung, the city registration in the place you're living at, in your address in Germany. Only then you can send it. And Kita Gutschein usually takes around 1.5 to 2 months to get, plus minus. Depends where you live, depends how many other parents there are in your area. But that's the average time about how much it takes. So It's really important to be on top of it. I can share with you that Tal and I usually we have when we have our customers, we are really building a whole plan about what needs to happen when. So the family is arriving to Germany, there is an Anmeldung, there is a Kita Gutschein, there is like a whole plan ahead of the whole bureaucratic things that needs to happen at the beginning, that after a few months in Germany, everything will be in place and you could start your life here as easy as possible. Yeah.
As smooth as possible. Yes. What we are doing in our, we do give a service for Gutschein, applying for Gutschein according to the regulations in each state and in each Bundesland. And then we do the whole process. We get the details, we get the documents, we do it as organized as possible in order to minimize the waiting time for the Gutschein. So it is possible if you do it organized and in order, according to the state that you're living in.
Yeah.
I would like to talk about tips because a lot of people came here to also hear information about the system and about, all the things that we can give, general information, but they're coming here also because they're having difficulties to find the Kita spot. So what would be your first tip for finding a Kita?
I think the first tip is to reach to as many possible Kitas there are. Is I can give some numbers just to that you will understand. If you send to around, let's say 100 Kitas, in a good case, you will get maybe 2 or 3 confirmations that tells you, okay, great, we would like to have you. You are welcome to come for an interview. So my first tip will be reach as many as possible. Be picky, but not too picky. I would say that too. Of course, it's also a point of taste, a point of feeling belong to. That's the kid and you feel safe in the space and with the team of the Kita. Yeah, the Gutschein
Yeah. But
upfront is
yes, of course, Gutschein is important, but I think that is very important to search through friends and Facebook groups to ask, or WhatsApp groups or whatever groups that you're a member of. So this is really important to spread around. I'm looking for a Kita spot for my child. And then if one of the parents, they have a free Kita spot in their Kita, they might say, okay, we have a spot there, or they actually post something. We have this Kita, we have for this and this birth year. For a boy or a girl, there's also, it has to be balanced. So to follow the social media or WhatsApp groups or stuff like that, that is extremely important. Extremely important.
that's true. Yeah. It's always good to have like a review for somebody that you trust on. Yeah.
Yeah. I also recommend to go to the Kita to ask there. Maybe call first. As always,
Yes.
be polite.
Yes, exactly. It's Germany. We want to be polite. We want to announce that we're coming, but it's a great tip. That's true.
Yes. In case that the Kita team speaks only German, maybe it's better to bring someone who's a German speaker, native German speaker with you. I can also say from my experience, when you bring a friend, he might not get the subtleties of the interview and the interview phase. And we didn't mention it so far, but it's something that is actually really important. The interview might be harder than a job interview because they have, yes, also in job interview, they have so many applicants, but when it comes to Kita, they have less variety. So it's, demand and what they have to, the places. So you have to present yourselves as parents and you have to present the child and how they are connected. So it's really, really important. And if it's done in a language that you don't speak, then you have to bring someone who knows the subtleties. So better to bring a professional, in my opinion. I know that it's a little bit not objective, but I've seen cases that the friend who came with the parents to the interview just completely misunderstood what was happening there, and it's a problem. In our case, maybe Paz, you can give a few words about the interview preparation that we do with our
Yeah.
clients.
Yeah, so I also wanted to actually to tell a story, a short one that a few years ago I had a client that came to me and she said, "Listen, I went already to a few interviews and I went with a friend of mine and she translated and for some reason they didn't get back to me and I was asking her a few questions just to try to understand how the interviews were." And between the lines, I understood that maybe the friend didn't so much got the little like the little situations or the little words which are like more specific because she didn't had kids, so she was unfamiliar with the German translation and with the whole Kita world, let's say, and I guess maybe there it was a bit thing. But yeah, Tal, to your question, we do our preparations for the interviews. It's part of our package. Um, um, we are explaining and guiding the parents before the interview about what to ask, what not to ask, how to show, what to do, what to look for. Um, what is really important? What is the little nuance that maybe it's really important to watch out for? Yeah, I think it's really important because exactly as you said, the interview is can be really tough, and it's not that easy, as I said, to get an interview for 100 Kitas that maybe you will talk with, or you will get maybe 2 or 3 interviews. You really need to take them in 2 hands and use them, because even if you're in waiting lists, it's not sure you're gonna get a spot. Yeah. Um, it's better to save a spot as early as possible instead of waiting to the last minute, because waiting lists, usually when they come to you, it's in the last minute. It's really the last minute, and I usually don't recommend to wait so far. It's good maybe as plan B, but it's always good to have a plan A. Yeah.
Good. I think that we should approach the questions because they're like piling up. So
Okay.
one of the questions that we actually mentioned is, can I apply for a Gutschein before arriving to Germany? So as Paz already said, we're trying to plan for we're planning for our clients the whole process, pre-departure and after arrival. And we include everything. But as mentioned before, you cannot apply for a Gutschein before you did your registration, your Anmeldung in Germany, in the place that you want to look for a Kita, in the state that you want to live in. You can start searching for a Kita before, and we do that, obviously. We just say, this family, they come in July, they come in July, in August, what, in October, in April, whatever. And then they're going to have their interview. They're setting a spot. But the Gutschein, you cannot apply before you do the registration. So I took this question, sorry, kind
All
of on
good.
it. So another question that maybe we need to be more specific about it. Do I have to have a voucher before I start searching for a Kita?
Okay, so again, no. You can exactly as you said, it's totally fine to start to search for Akita even before you have the Gutschein. But even to save a spot before you have the Gutschein, because let's say now again it's summer 2024, and we are planning to move in summer 25. But I already want to start and make sure that I have a spot for my child next year. I'm talking with the Kitas, and one of the Kita, for example, tells me, "Hooray, you have a spot for next year." And I said, "Perfect. Now I know that I have a spot. Everything is fine. When I will get to Germany, I need to come early enough that I will have enough time to get the Gutschein to the starting date of the Kita. Again, it's really important. I think I said it also before. The spot is really important. Don't miss it. If you say if you said you will start in, I don't know, the 1st of September, you're gonna start in the 1st of September. The Kitas most of the time won't wait too long until if you don't have your Gutschein. They can keep the spot maybe for a week or two, maybe if they're nice, but they don't have to. If you decided, both of you, to start in the 1st of September, start at the 1st of September. Be prepared. I also recommend to start search for a Kita at least 4 to 5 months to be on the safe side before you move to Germany. So it needs really to have the time. It takes time. It takes time until they respond to you. It takes time if you need to make a follow-up. It takes time. So keep in mind, it's a long process.
I think that now we actually have a follow-up question that, connects to the one that you just answered. Do I write that I can start in July, or I write at the beginning of the Kita year? What do I write in the Gutschein that I need?
Yeah. So the Gutschein, it's also maybe good. I didn't mention it before. The Gutschein is valid only for 1 year. So each year you will have not necessarily a calendaric year or a pedagogic year, just a year from the last time when you got the Gutschein. So if I got the Gutschein in March, so until the next March, the Gutschein is valid. And each year you need to renew the Gutschein in the same process. Or when your status is changing, what does that mean? If, for example, one of the parent is working and one not, and now the other parent, the second parent, got, for example, a full-time job, then you need to change your Gutschein again, because now you are not like one staying home parent. You are two working full-time parents, and that's changing your status, and that's why maybe you will get also more hours, but you have to update it all the time, the Jugendamt, about this.
Yeah, I think in that way you covered the next 3 questions that people ask.
Oh,
Because
I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, because
no, that's
before that
great.
I saw something and probably it's kept in my mind,
Yeah,
but
so
but
that's good. We
but
answered a few questions already. I
but
think
it's
maybe,
yeah.
yeah, sorry.
No, but it jumps to my mind with the Gutschein. So it's really important to focus on it and yeah, and to start yeah, to the question. I'm sorry, I didn't answer by the question itself. So when you start with a Gutschein, write the date that you give the Gutschein. Not it's not necessarily have to be the date that you start the Kita, although it's all the time will be better. But the Gutschein, the date of the Gutschein will start when you ask the Gutschein. It doesn't matter if you start the Kita 2 months later.
Okay, this is really important to know.
Yeah.
And you talked about changing status. Can parents change the hours? If, for example, at the beginning, and I'm combining a few questions together, if they
Yeah.
arrive to Germany without job, to any of them, so they're not working, they're just at home, and after 2 months, they found a job, or one of them found a job, can they change the hours of the Gutschein?
It's not that only they can, they must. By law, they must they must to change it. Yeah, yeah. But they definitely can. Of course, it's awaited from them to do so by the law, by the governments, by the officials. They do need to update all the time as soon as the situation, as the status is changing. And of course, as I said, they will get probably more hours too, which is of course even better. I can also give like a little small inside thing. Kitas are usually like more Gutscheins with more hours. because, as I said before, the hours are translated to money for the Kitas, and they prefer the bigger ones because they get more money eventually on the same spot of the child. Remember that they maybe have, if it's a small one, maybe they have like 25 places and that's it. So each spot is really important.
So you're basically saying that they give priority to a child that has more hours in the Gutschein.
Maybe.
Ouch.
Yes, but
Yeah.
usually it's like this. That's true. Usually it's like this.
We have so many other questions and we kind of ran out of time. So we would like to thank you for participating. Thank you, Paz, for participating with us.
Thank you.
And I just want to mention before we leave, if you have any other question, please write us to office at Gibbesch, GIBBESCH minus consulting.com. Either office at the beginning or info at the beginning. And we can write in if you're looking for assistance with Kita search in any place in Germany. Please write to us and see if we can help. We also help with Gutschein, as you can understand already, and also with child allowance stipends. So this is something that we also do Elternzeit and all children bureaucracy in general. So thank you for having us, and thank you for having the time. And we're looking forward to hearing from you
Yeah.
in the near future.
Yes. Good luck to
Goodbye.
everybody.
Yeah, have a great
Bye.
evening. Bye bye.